See him a beast when he hear that sound like yeah, beat on the beat when he hear that sound like woo. Yeah, bitch on the champ, only me one round like yeah, me, I'm a G ring.
Fighting at Cage Warriors 148 on New Year's Eve. Out of Liverpool, but not a Scouser. Confirmed. Please welcome my friend Nathan Fletcher. Nathan, how you doing, man?
I'm doing very good, brother. You've got to throw that in there because we don't want to make the people from Southport unhappy with me calling myself a Scouser, and then I'd get a bit of stick from all the lads in the gym as well if I went on saying I was a Scouser. So, yeah, you get to throw that in there. But, brother, I'm all good. Thank you very much for having me on.
Yeah, man, it's great to have you. Holiday season, fight a week out. What's your energy level like?
My energy level is really, really good. I'm just going to move out of here, brother. Sorry, because my connection's terrible in that room, and I just realised there's always a lag.
You're good. We get the MTV Cribs tour too, so that's cool.
There you go. Now we're in another room in the house, so you're getting the tour. Yeah. Look, energy levels are perfect. Obviously, it's holiday season, as you guys say, but it's no different for me. It just feels like any other week leading up to a fight. I won't be enjoying my Christmas dinner this year because I'll be cutting weight. So, like I said, I'm in good spirits, but I won't be celebrating the holidays too much this year.
Are you going to have like a belated Christmas, maybe like a week after your fight or something?
Well, my birthday is the 3rd of January, and normally it's a pretty crappy time of year to have a birthday because everyone's just done all the celebrating over the Christmas period. Everyone's knuckling back down. I'm normally getting back into another fight camp on my birthday, but this time around I'll actually be able to have a little week off after the fight and enjoy my 25th birthday. So I'll be celebrating my holiday season then.
Well, happy almost birthday, man. Sounds like a plan. We haven't seen you in the cage since 2021. I think you had 2 fights canceled this year. What have you been up to?
Yeah, so I've been training all year. Been in the gym, staying in shape, looking to get a fight. Obviously, I haven't fought since my title fight in September last year, and it's through no fault of my own. I've been trying to get back, but July I was scheduled to fight, and my opponent never made it to the weigh-ins. And then fast forward to November, I was scheduled to fight Cameron Else on the November 4th card, which is a pretty big show. And he pulled out about a month out, and then Cage Warriors were scraping around trying to find anybody to take a fight with me, and nobody seemed to want to take it. So here we are, the last day of the year. I'm squeezing it in. So I'm happy to at least get one fight in this year, but it's been a crazy year for me, like I can't lie.
I mean, is that a good feeling that people are dodging you and don't want fights and pulling out, or is it more frustrating?
I mean, it's a good feeling in a sense, but then when you can't get a single opponent, it's pretty frustrating. Like if a few guys were to turn it down and then some tough game opponent was to take it, you all feel like, okay, well, it shows people don't want to fight me. They're saying no for a reason. But yeah, it was frustrating because we had about a month looking for people for 2 different shows. I tried to get matched the week after then on the 12th of November for the Manchester card, and we just couldn't get anyone to say yes to the fight. Now, thankfully, we've got a game Italian kid called Alessandro who's willing to fight me. So I'm very thankful for him for stepping up. So yeah, we're just cracking on with that now, brother.
Perfect segue into my next question. I was going to mention this Italian kid. His name's a little hard, so I'm going to try my best. Alessandro Giordano. I think I just nailed that. What are your thoughts on him as an opponent? He is also 6-1, like yourself.
Yeah, so I like the matchup. It's intriguing because we're both a similar age. He's 25. I'm about to be 25, and we're 6-1, identical records. He's on a bit of a win streak. These are the fights I want. I want game, hungry, up and coming prospects who are looking to take the career serious and go on to the UFC because I want to make statements. And I believe I'm the best fighter in Europe at bantamweight. I believe that I can go into the UFC and dominate there. And I believe I can be the best in the world. So I'm not looking for, guys at the end of the career or bums or tune-up fights or any of that sort of stuff. I'm looking for legit competition to where I can go in and dominate and then prove the level I'm at and get on the UFC's radar.
Love it, man. Love that attitude, that dog mentality. I'm not sure if you've watched any tape on Alessandro, but if you have, from what you've seen, how do you think the two of you match up stylistically?
I mean, I think the sort of obvious thing you can make of this fight is it's a striker versus grappler in a sense, in that he's, a lot of his wins have come via strikes and he seems to have more of like a Thai boxing heavy style, but this is an MMA fight. I'm really well rounded. I've spent 15 months out of the cage, honing all my skills. I'm a lot more complete fighter now than the last time you saw me fight. So I'm confident I'm going to go in there and dominate all areas of this fight. And I think skill wise, although on paper it looks like a pick and fight, I think skill wise I'm better than him in every area. So it's not going to be a pick and matchup. It's going to be a domination by me.
So something interesting you just said is it's going to be striker versus grappler, so to speak. And a lot of people, when they hear that someone from England going up against someone else, the English guy is going to be that striker, right? Now, because, English MMA is just so well known for its great boxing and kickboxing. Look at Leon Edwards, Michael Bisping. But your guys, Jim, you really put an emphasis on that grappling. I mean, a bunch of killers out of there. I assume you're still at Next Generation in Liverpool. For the casuals watching who don't follow the sport as closely as I do, why don't you just name drop some of the killers in that gym and some of your coaches and training partners?
But I think the pretty big ones, the pretty obvious names out of our gym are Paddy Pimlet and Meatball Molly.
Who are they?
Paddy the Paddy Pimlet.
I'm just kidding. Everybody.
What about me falling for that? Paddy's trying to explain. Obviously, look, two of the biggest stars in the UFC at the minute. Especially Paddy with the streak he's on, and Molly in terms of like the female talent, she's right up there, in the organization. So they're the two big names we've got coming out of the gym. But then you look at the European scene on Cage Warriors, we've got an absolute who's who of killers as well. We've got the likes of, myself, Adam Cullen, Luke Riley, Liam Gittins, Liam Malloy. We've got Shamrock, who's been doing bits on the FCC, another big promotion. We've got Connor Wilson coming through the ranks. So this is just to name a few. We've got a team full of killers. Pros and amateurs, and I truly believe that in sort of the next 5 years you're going to see a great deal of fighters from Next Gen getting signed to the UFC and making waves on the world stage, like our teammates Paddy and Molly are already doing.
Yeah, dude, totally. And just with all that success Molly and Paddy have had on the big stage, obviously a lot of attention has been brought to your gym. Has that changed the vibe, the energy in the gym at all? Now having I don't know, Paddy the Baddy is probably a top 3, top 5 UFC star. And to have that in your gym, what kind of energy and attention does that bring?
Yeah, I mean, there probably is a little bit more attention on us, but the energy hasn't changed. It's always been the same since Paddy was on Cage Warriors and Molly was fighting for world titles on Cage Warriors. There's always been sort of crazy atmosphere in the gym. We all know where we're going. Do you know what I mean? Paddy said it from day one. He knew he was going to be this massive star. Same sort of thing with Molly. And that energy just carries through to the rest of us in the gym. We all know where we're heading. We all believe we've got a recipe for success with our coaching staff, with the people that we've got on the mat. So yeah, this sort of vibe in the gym, this energy, it's been going on for years. It's just we're getting a lot more media attention now. That's one thing that has changed. There's a lot more eyes on the gym. There's a lot more cameras turning up every day to film our practice sessions and stuff. But I like that. It's getting me used to it for when I'm in the UFC and I've got all the cameras following me around. So it's good preparation.
And I mean, 6-1 and a promotion as prestigious as Cage Warriors, not far away, my friend, not far away. Now, I did forget to ask you, going back to your fight real quick coming up, do you have a prediction? How do you think this fight plays out?
I mean, I don't have a specific prediction how I think I'm going to get the finish, but I know for the fact that I'm going to finish him. I'm not coming in here to point score. I believe that my level is that much higher than his, that I can go in there, really, step on the gas and get him out of there, whether it be first round, second round, third round. I'm not too bothered. I just know that I'm going to go in and get another stoppage and add to my already perfect stoppage streak that I've got going on. So it'll be the 7th finish out of the 7 wins.
So after you put him to sleep, whether that's with a fist or the choke, you get the dub. What's next, man? Do you stay with Cage Warriors? I believe every single one of your pro fights so far has been with Cage Warriors. So do you chase that belt, or do you think it's maybe time for the big call?
No, I think I'm definitely gonna have a couple more fights on Cage Warriors. This is the promotion that growing up as an amateur, I looked up to, all the pros on Cage Warriors, all the guys in my gym were coming through this platform. You can see that it's sort of like the place to springboard your career to go forward into the UFC. So that's what I'm planning to do. I think that, if I hadn't lost that title fight last year, I was pretty confident I was probably going to get signed to the UFC at 7-0, but things didn't go my way. And here we are a year later. I feel like I'm a lot more mature now. I'm a lot more prepared for the career that I'm going to have. And that's down to the obstacles that I've had to overcome this year since losing that fight. So my plan is, come out on New Year's Eve. I'm not looking past that. Look really impressive, dominate another highly touted prospect and just show everyone my level. And then I think next year, I'm 100% going to have the belt by the end of 2023. I've already got a win over the champ, Michele Martignoni.
Yep.
I'm his only loss. There's a couple of other guys in the division, Kalen Lochran, who I beat in the amateur ranks. I'd like to get that fight again at pro because I believe I'd beat him again. And these are the type of names that I want to be taking out. You know, you got Alessandro 6-1. Martignoni, who I've already beat, is 8-1. Lochran's 7-0, I think. So I think if I'm beating guys like that and finishing them, you know, I can't go anywhere else but the UFC.
Yeah, it's very impressive. I don't have the numbers in front of me, but your opponent's combined win record has to be, I would 50 and 10-1 or something like that. Like crazy. You fight very, very high level competition. Mentioning your title fight last year, it was your first professional loss. You haven't fought since then. How have you, for lack of better terms, been sleeping with this? Like, what has this done to your mental toll? Or I assume afterwards, obviously, just being a wrestler my whole life, you lose, it sucks, right?
Yeah.
But with that loss, you can do one of two things. You can sulk and not make change and feel bad for yourself, or you can light that fire and put it to work. So what did that loss do for you?
Yeah, I think initially there was a little bit of sulking going on. You know, I took the time. I had to deal with the emotions of that. You know, I'm a very confident man, and I really believed I was going to go in and walk through Dominic Wooding. And then I got a bit of a rude awakening in that fight. But I've learned so much about myself in these last 15 months. It's been crazy. I genuinely believe that without all this, you know, adversity and hardship that I've faced, I wouldn't have been prepared to go on and have the career that I'm destined to have. So I feel like this time I'm really going to look back in my career, and this is going to be the making of me. It's one thing to preach mental toughness when everything's going your way. You're 6-0, you're never getting any injuries, you're flying through competition, everyone's getting on board your train. But then when that all comes to a halt, people start to forget who you are. You don't get your opportunity to compete. You don't get your opportunity to shine. It's kind of like those are the times when, you know, your mental strength really put to the test. And I feel like I've passed this year with flying colours. Do you know what I mean? I've really improved in all areas of life, not just in fighting. I feel I've matured so much. And like I said, because of these adversities I've faced with injuries, pullouts, and not being able to perform this year, I feel like all that's galvanized me into the man that I am now. And I'm prepared to go forward off this win and have a really successful career.
I talk to a lot of fighters, a lot of whom are 25 like yourself, some of which are 28, 38, whatever. You hold yourself very high. You know, if I didn't know you already, I wouldn't think you're 25. So I would think you were 28, 29, 30. You seem very mature. Seem like
I appreciate
it's
really...
that. Of course, man. Of course, man. You carry yourself very well. So talking Britain, MMA, UK, big year for your guys' country as a whole. Leon Edwards, Paddy the Baddy, Molly. You know, I mean, just a huge year. Leon Edwards getting the first title in the UFC for England since Michael Bisping. So, have you ever met Leon Edwards?
No, I haven't. I've never had the pleasure to meet him. I'd love to at some point, you know, go and train with those guys down at Renegade. I think they've got a good thing going there. But yeah, I've never met Leon. But it definitely, his achievement still resonates with me. Do you know what I mean? Just the fact he's from the UK and he's won the title out of doing it from a UK gym. That in itself, even though I don't know him and I've never trained with those guys, it shows me that it's possible. Do you know what I mean? And seeing the success that my teammates are having, seeing Paddy co-main eventing at UFC the other week, like that is showing me if I keep doing the right things, that's what's in store for my future. So they light a fire under me seeing the other UK guys do well.
My next question was going to be, what did that win do for you as a fighter? But you just answered that. And that was one of the craziest knockouts I've ever seen in my entire life. So Leon,
Insane,
if you're watching,
it?
Hats off, brother. What he said,
definitely.
He said, what was his quote? You know what I'm talking about? I'm just
pound for pound, headshot, dead, something like that.
Yeah, that was it. That was it.
Yeah.
Great. So real quick, just one more question about Britain MMA fighters. I want to ask you about Paddy again. And when I ask this, if you don't want to answer, you know, tell me to buzz off. I'm definitely not trying to get you to drag Paddy. I love Paddy. I'm a big fan. But 2 weeks ago, UFC 282, his name was just surrounded around a bunch of controversy for the first time in his career, right? The Ariel Helwani thing. A lot of people questioning the decision of the fight. I don't want to ask you either your opinion on those. I just want to ask you, have you seen Paddy since 282? Because I was very impressed with how high he held himself after that. Because, like I said, first time in his career, he's really had to deal with any negative press, so to speak. So how's he been doing since that?
Yeah, Paddy's absolutely fine. Look, I seen him the other day actually in the gym for the first time, and he's cool. Do you know what I mean? He's chilling, he's enjoying his food, he's enjoying another win. He's enjoying the paychecks that he's getting. So he's doing good. Although this is the first time it seems on a global scale he's had to deal with this. Paddy's been sort of a local celebrity for a long time. So going back sort of 5-6 years in Liverpool, he's always been well known, and he's had a couple of losses on Cage Warriors in the past where people have writ him off, and a lot of people from the city have, been maybe dragging his name down a bit, but he's dealt with that already. Do you know what I mean? So I feel like he's in a place mentally where he's so mentally strong. He's genuinely like got the most belief in himself of any human being I've ever met. So it's something to behold, to be honest, his mental strength, and something like that's not going to bother him. Do you know what I mean? If anything, sometimes he gets a little bit caught up replying to people in comments, giving shit back to, egg accounts on Twitter and stuff and on Instagram, but he's just having a laugh with that. Do you know what I mean? In terms of like, yeah, his mental strength from this, he's not fazed by any of the negativity coming his way.
That's good to hear, man. I was very, obviously I'm not going to be able to talk to Patty, but it's cool that I could ask you that question. So I appreciate you answering that for me. Nathan, I only have 2 questions left because I know you got other interviews to do today. This one is actually a little break from fighting because I'm sure that's all you've been talking for months and months in your whole life. But aside from Nathan the fighter, tell me a little bit about Nathan the person. When you're not in the cage, when you're not training, if that is ever a time in your life, do you have any like hobbies or interests?
See, this is a difficult question because I'm so obsessed with fighting that not much else occupies my brain, to be honest. Like, I've kind of molded my life around MMA. Like, my close circle of friends that I'll meet up with, nearly every day, go for the coffee, go for some food after training. They're all athletes, whether they be MMA fighters, some of them are CrossFit athletes, some of them are just guys who are into the fitness and health. So we're always talking about, you know, staying in shape, being active, training, improving. So that's kind of like, yeah, my whole life's based around mixed martial arts. Like I've recently got into my reading quite a lot the last sort of 2 years, which is a big thing I like to talk about outside of MMA. I'm into a lot of stoicism and, reading on philosophy like that. But again, that's to improve my mental strength to benefit my fighting career. So it's a boring answer, bro. But yeah, there's not much else to me other than like Nathan the competitor. Do you know what I mean?
Hey, man, I don't even think that's boring. I think that's awesome. And that's what makes you guys literal warriors. You're modern day gladiators. And I love that answer. So, Nathan, before we get out of here, dude, Cage Warriors 148, New Year's Eve, tons of eyes are going to be on you. You're going to be in the UFC before we know it. I just want to give you the opportunity. Is there anything you'd like to say to everybody? Supporters, friends, family, fans? I'm sure you even got a hater or two out there. The mic is yours.
I don't know about that. I don't know if I've got any haters. I don't know. But if I did anyway, I won't respond to them. But listen, yeah, this has been a really tough year for me. I'm not gonna lie. And like I feel like although I do preach about my mental toughness and stuff, I wouldn't have been able to deal with all the setbacks I've had on my own. So I need to say a big thank you to one, my support network, which is my family, my girlfriend, and my close friends. They all know who they are. And then other than that, my sponsors. Like last year coming up to the title fight, I had a couple of companies jump on board and get behind me for that fight. And then the next day after the loss, didn't really hear anything from them. But then you've got the guys who have been with me since day one, supporting me since my amateur days. You've got Finer Filters who literally do so much for me. I wouldn't be in the position I am without them. There's a guy called Jack Harper. Sorry, lost you there.
You're good.
There's a guy called Jack Harper who's been sponsoring me for the best part of the last 4 or 5 years as well. And again, without him, wouldn't be in the position I am to be able to train full time. And the macro chef, who's always keeping me nice and lean. You can see on the cheeks there, I'm looking in fight shape now.
Let me get a flex. Let me get a flex.
Come on, bro.
Sir. Look at them veins.
Look at that, bro. Do you know what I'm saying? We ain't playing rounds. So shout out to Macro Chef for that. And then, yeah, just all my sponsors who've supported me through this difficult time. I'm very, very grateful for you. And it doesn't go unnoticed. It goes a long way.
Love it, man. Ladies and gentlemen, Nathan Fletcher fighting at Cage Warriors 148 New Year's Eve. I will link all of his social medias below. Please go shoot him a follow. Go look his name up on YouTube. Catch some of his highlights. And like I said, New Year's Eve, there will be more highlights to come. Nathan, my friend, thank you so much. Kick ass next weekend. And Merry Christmas, brother.
Jake, thank you very much. That was a boss interview, mate. I enjoyed that. And thanks for having me on. Enjoy the holidays yourself, my brother.
Of course, dude.